The year turns quietly, like a page touched by patient fingers. Outside, a porch light hums softly in the cool darkness. Somewhere nearby, a clock keeps steady time, never rushing. You may be lying still, yet your mind keeps walking. Thoughts line up like shoes by the door, worn and dusty. Tomorrow waits. Yesterday whispers, and sleep feels far away. I see this often, in tired faces and gentle silences. Hard-working lives carry invisible weight into the night. Even rest can feel like another task to complete. So for now, there is nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to understand or improve tonight. Just this moment, breathing quietly, exactly as you are. In the old teachings, there is a simple reminder. The Buddha once spoke of beginning again, moment by moment, not with force, but with careful attention and kindness. A new year is not a command to become someone else. It is more like dawn, touching the same familiar hills. The landscape remains, but the light arrives fresh. Discipline, in this gentle way, means caring for attention, choosing where the mind rests. Like placing a cup down carefully, not tight control, but steady, patient guidance. The Dhammapada hints at this quiet strength. It says the mind shapes experience, like rain shapes stone, slowly, naturally, through many small moments. Inner peace is not found by pushing life away. It grows when we stop arguing with what is here. Breath arrives, thoughts pass, the body softens. Hard trials still come, as they always have. Loss, effort, disappointment, and change visit every life. The teachings never denied this truth. Instead, they offered a way to meet difficulty gently. The Nikayas speak of endurance, balanced with compassion, standing steady, without hardening the heart. Tonight, you do not need to master anything. Mastery can wait for daylight and clear thinking. Now is only for resting inside simple awareness. As this story continues, we will walk slowly together through quiet reflections, ordinary images, and kind pauses. Nothing to memorize, nothing to strive toward. You may notice your breathing deepen on its own, shoulders loosening, jaw unclenching, thoughts thinning like mist. This is enough for now. Let the new year arrive without pressure or promise. Let discipline feel like care, and peace feel allowed. Life can be met one calm breath at a time. If you'd like, feel free to share where you're listening from tonight. Story 1. The lamp left on. At the end of a long street, one window stayed softly lit. The rest of the houses slept, dark and quiet. Inside, a tired man lay awake, listening to the refrigerator hum. His mind replayed meetings, unpaid bills, words he wished he changed. The small lamp by his bed had been left on again, not by mistake, but by habit and comfort. Years ago, his mother said, "Light keeps worry from growing teeth." He never forgot that sentence, though she never explained it. Tonight, the light touched the wall like a calm hand. It did not argue with the darkness. It simply stayed. In the old teachings, there is a gentle line. The Dhammapada says the mind runs wild when left unattended, so kindness becomes the lamp we leave on. The man breathed slowly, not fixing anything. Thoughts still came, but softer, less sharp. He imagined worry as a tired guest. No need to fight it, Just offer a seat and some quiet. The Buddha once spoke of right effort, not forcing the mind into silence, but guiding it back. Again and again, the lamp glowed. The room felt less crowded, and in that soft light, sleep found him without being chased. Sometimes, the teaching whispered, peace begins by not turning the light off too soon. Story 2. Snow on the office steps. Early snow fell on concrete office steps. No footprints yet, just white waiting. A woman stood there, coat half buttoned, breath visible. Another year ended with deadlines unfinished in her chest. Inside her bag were notes, plans, promises to do better. They felt heavier than the snow. She remembered a teaching from long ago. In the Sutta Nikaya, effort is compared to tuning a string. Too tight, it snaps. Too loose, it sings poorly. She brushed snow from the step and sat. Cold seeped through her coat. Yet something inside softened. The building loomed behind her. Silent now. Work would wait until morning. She watched snow land without asking where to fall. No ambition. No regret. Just arrival. Her mind followed the flakes down, each breath slower than the last. The Buddha spoke of balance, not perfection, walking the middle way. Even on icy steps, she stood, eventually, calmer, lighter. The snow had not changed her life, but it reminded her she did not need to carry everything tonight. Discipline, the teaching murmured, can mean knowing when to rest. Story 3. The cracked mug. A cracked mug sat by the sink. Coffee stained its side like a map. A man rinsed it carefully every night. It had survived years of mornings and disappointments. He owned better mugs, unblemished and new. Still, he chose this one. At work, he felt cracked too. Missed promotions, quiet envy, words swallowed. In a Jataka tale, a monk kept a broken bowl, not from poverty, but from respect. The bowl still served its purpose. So did the monk. The man held the mug warm between his palms. Steam rose slowly, forgivingly. The Buddha taught intention matters more than appearance. Function over shine, presence over perfection. The crack did not leak tonight. Neither did the man. As sleep came closer, he smiled faintly. Wholeness, the story said, does not require being unbroken. Story 4. The late train. The last train sighed into the station. Metal cooled. Lights dimmed. A woman sat alone. Suitcase at her feet. She had missed her connection by minutes. Anger came. Then resignation. Now only tiredness remained. She remembered the Megillah Sutta. Restlessness fades when the body is allowed to stop. The platform was quiet. Even delay had its own rhythm. She leaned back, listening to distant rails. Each sound steady, unhurried. The Buddha once said patience reveals hidden paths, not by searching, but by waiting. Her breath matched the night. The missed train no longer mattered. Sleep came before the next announcement. Sometimes, the teaching whispered, arrival begins with stopping. Story 5. The unsent email. A laptop glowed in a dark kitchen. One email remained unsent. The words felt sharp, defensive, rehearsed. A reply to criticism at work. A man stared, jaw tight. His chest carried old arguments. From the Abhaya Sutta came a quiet memory. Speech should be true, timely, and kind. He closed the laptop gently, not deleting, not sending. Silence settled like a blanket. The night approved. The Buddha taught restraint as freedom. Not every thought needs a voice. In bed, his shoulders loosened. The email slept too. Peace, the teaching said, sometimes arrives by choosing not to press send. Story 6. The neighbor's light, through thin curtains. Another apartment glowed. Someone else awake. A woman lay still, listening to pipes knock. She felt less alone seeing that light. Her worries circled family and money, the usual night companions. The Karaniya Metta Sutta speaks of shared goodwill, wishing safety without needing names. She sent a silent wish across the street. May you rest. Her breathing slowed. Connection replaced comparison. The Buddha taught that kindness travels unseen, like light through windows. Sleep followed quietly. Even strangers can help us rest. Story 7. The garden hose. A coiled hose lay in the yard. Kinked, tangled, forgotten. A man straightened it slowly after sunset. No rush. His thoughts mirrored the hose, twisted by years of striving. The Satipatthana Sutta speaks of mindful action, attention in simple tasks. As the hose loosened, so did his chest. Water flowed cleanly. The Buddha taught clarity comes through care, one small movement at a time. Night cooled his hands. The mind followed. Rest arrived without effort. Sometimes, the teaching said, untangling begins outside. Story 8. The quiet checkout line. A grocery store hummed under fluorescent light. Only one register open. A tired cashier smiled patiently. A woman waited, arms heavy with bags. Impatience rose, then faded. Nothing to rush toward. From the Kalama Sutta came a memory. Do not follow habit blindly. She softened her stance. Let the moment be enough. The line moved. So did her breath. The Buddha taught wisdom grows in ordinary places, even checkout lines. That night, sleep felt easier. Calm can be practiced anywhere. Story 9. The old photograph. An old photograph slipped from a book. Faces, younger, hopeful. A man traced the edges carefully. Regret stirred gently. The Mahakama Vibhanga Sutta speaks of actions ripening over time. Not all at once. He placed the photo back. The past allowed to rest. The Buddha taught acceptance does not erase history. It releases the grip. His breath deepened. The night forgave. Sleep came softly. Time, the teaching said, can be held without clenching. Story 10. The cup of water. Before bed, a cup of water sat untouched, clear, still. A woman lifted it slowly, hands steady now. Her day had been loud with demands. Now only quiet remained. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the path begins with awareness, seeing clearly what is here. She drank. Coolness spread gently. The cup emptied without struggle. So did her thoughts. The Buddha taught life turns through small realizations, simple as water meeting thirst. She lay down, unburdened. Rest, the teaching whispered, begins when nothing is added. Story 11. The empty parking lot. The parking lot stretched wide and quiet under pale yellow lights. Lines rested calmly, waiting for cars that had already gone home. A man sat in his parked sedan, engine off, hands still. He did this often, delaying the walk inside. Work followed him everywhere, even into silence. Numbers, expectations, Unfinished thoughts floated behind his eyes. Tonight, the air felt cooler through a cracked window. A distant owl called, unbothered by deadlines. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of pauses, moments where effort loosens its grip. The man rested his forehead against the steering wheel. Breath slowed without instruction. The lot did not judge his stillness. It held space patiently. He noticed how nothing asked anything of him now. No screens, no voices, just light, painted gently on asphalt. The Buddha once compared the mind to a restless animal, given patience. It settles beside you. Minutes passed unnoticed. His chest felt wider. When he finally opened the door, he smiled faintly. The teaching lingered like warmth. Rest, it said, can begin before you arrive home. Story 12. The kitchen sink at midnight. Water dripped slowly from the faucet, each sound separate, complete. A woman stood barefoot on cool tile, the house finally asleep. Her day replayed in fragments, words spoken too sharply, silences misunderstood. She washed a single plate by hand. No rush. In the Sutta Nikaya, mindfulness lives in daily acts. Attention brings peace into motion. The plate gleamed under warm light, clean without effort. Her breathing matched the rhythm of water. Drip, pause. She felt her shoulders lower. The sink accepted everything without complaint. The Buddha taught purification is gentle. It happens through repetition, not force. She turned off the tap. Silence returned. In bed, her hands remembered warmth. Sleep followed. The teaching whispered softly. Clarity comes when the hands are kind. Story 13. The bench near the playground. A wooden bench faced an empty playground. Swings rested, motionless. A man sat watching leaves tumble across rubber mats. Children's laughter still echoed faintly in memory. He felt the ache of missed time. Long hours working, short evenings at home. From the Sigalovada Sutta came a gentle reminder. Life balances duties, not perfectly, but honestly. He placed his hands on his knees, felt the bench support him. The playground had waited all day. Now it rested. The Buddha spoke of forgiveness, beginning inward, letting go of imagined debts. The man breathed deeply. Leaves continued their slow dance. Nothing accused him here. Nothing demanded repair. As night deepened, he stood calmly. Tomorrow would come soon enough. Sleep found him later. Peaceful. The teaching stayed close. Care grows when regret is softened. Story 14. The quiet stairwell. The stairwell echoed softly with each step. Concrete walls held cool air. A woman descended slowly, hand on railing. She chose stairs instead of the elevator tonight. Her body felt heavy with tiredness, her thoughts heavier still. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes movement, each step known fully. She matched breath to motion. Down, pause. The building settled around her. No rush. The Buddha taught presence dissolves burden, moment by moment. By the final step, her jaw unclenched, her back straightened. At home, she slept easily. The teaching lingered. Sometimes, peace is found between floors. Story 15. The open notebook. An open notebook lay beside the bed. Pages blank. Waiting. A man stared at it under dim light. Words pressed behind his eyes. Plans for change. Resolutions half-formed. The Anguttara Nikaya speaks of right intention, gentle direction, not command. He closed the notebook quietly. Tonight needed no record. The pen rested. So did his mind. The Buddha taught beginnings arise naturally. When conditions are kind, sleep came without plans. The teaching smiled. Not everything must start tonight. Story 16. The laundry room window. Moonlight slipped through a small window. Dust floated, visible and calm. A woman folded warm towels slowly. The scent of soap filled the room. Her worries softened with each fold, edges smoothing. In the Abhidhamma, moments pass quickly, yet awareness stretches them. Fabric stacked neatly, breath steady. The Buddha taught simplicity steadies the heart. No excess needed. She turned off the light, carried warmth with her. Sleep followed. Care, the teaching said, can be folded in. Story 17. The last cupboard door. A cupboard door creaked softly, then closed. A man checked the kitchen once more. Lights off. Stove cool. Safety reassured him. Control loosened. The Vitakasantana Sutta teaches redirecting thought gently, replacing worry with calm attention. He stood quietly, listening to night sounds. All was enough. The Buddha spoke of trust in simple truths. Nothing more required. In bed, his thoughts dimmed. Sleep arrived. Peace, the teaching said, lives in ordinary checks. Story 18. The morning newspaper at night. A folded newspaper waited unread. Stories postponed. A woman touched its edge, then let go. Tomorrow would hold it. In the Kalama Sutta, discernment includes restraint, choosing what feeds the mind. She turned away gently. The room darkened. The Buddha taught wisdom includes timing, knowing when not to engage. Sleep embraced her easily. Rest, the teaching whispered, is informed choice. Story 19. The slow ceiling fan. A ceiling fan turned lazily above. Soft hum. A man followed its rhythm with his eyes. Thoughts thinned. The Indra's net image floated gently. Everything connected. Nothing strained. The Buddha taught into being without effort. Stillness within motion. The fan continued. Breath slowed. Sleep came like a tide. The teaching rested. All things moved together. Quietly. Story 20. The door left ajar. A bedroom door remained slightly open. Hallway light softened the dark. A woman lay listening to distant night sounds. Comforted by openness. The Dhammapada speaks of openness of mind. Freedom without fear. She did not close the door. Did not need to. The Buddha taught peace does not require sealing. Trust allows rest. Sleep arrived gently. The teaching whispered its final kindness. You are safe, just as you are. Story 21. The sidewalk after rain. The sidewalk glistened under streetlights. Smooth and reflective. Small puddles held pieces of the sky. A man walked slowly, hands in his coat pockets. Rain had ended, leaving the air clean and cool. His day had been crowded with decisions. Every choice felt examined, measured, judged. Now his shoes made soft sounds against wet concrete. Each step returned him to the body. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of returning, coming back from wandering thought to simple contact. The man noticed his breath cloud briefly, then fade. No need to hold it. Lights shimmered in puddles, then broke apart. Nothing stayed fixed. He felt relief in that truth. Even heavy days dissolve eventually. The Buddha taught impermanence, not as loss, but as permission to loosen the grip. When he reached home, his shoulders felt lighter. Sleep came easily. The teaching stayed close. Like rain. Effort falls. Then clears. Story 22. The quiet library corner. A library lamp cast a warm circle of light. Dust rested peacefully on high shelves. A woman sat alone. Book unopened in her lap. She had come seeking answers. Instead, she found quiet. Pages could wait. Her mind had been loud for weeks. Opinions clashed. Inside and out. From the Kalama Sutta came a soft echo. Do not rush to believe every thought. She closed her eyes gently. Let the silence speak. The room did not insist on anything. Knowledge rested without demanding attention. The Buddha taught wisdom ripens in stillness, not in constant gathering. She left the library calmer than she entered. That night, sleep felt deep. The teaching whispered kindly, you do not need to know everything tonight. Story 23. The slow elevator ride. An elevator rose steadily through a quiet building. Numbers changed one by one. A man leaned against the wall, eyes half closed. The day pressed behind his temples. Meetings stacked upon meetings. No space between. The Sayutta Nikaya speaks of intervals, moments between moments. The elevator hummed softly. A pause he did not plan. His breath deepened with each floor. No effort needed. The Buddha taught calm grows in gaps. When doing stops briefly, the doors opened, but something inside stayed still. At home, sleep arrived smoothly. The teaching lingered. Even small pauses can carry you upward. Story 24. The candle on the table. A single candle flickered on the table. Its flame steady, patient. A woman watched it without thinking. Dinner dishes stacked nearby. Her mind usually rushed ahead, but the flame held her here. In the Dhammapada, attention is compared to guarding a flame, not letting winds scatter it. The candle bent slightly, then straightened, never struggling. She felt her own breath mimic that ease. In, out. The Buddha taught gentleness sustains clarity. Force only exhausts it. When she blew out the candle, darkness felt kind. Sleep followed naturally. The teaching glowed softly within. Steadiness does not require effort. Story 25. The mail left unopened. Envelopes rested on the hallway table. Corners curled slightly. A man passed them without stopping. Tonight was not for sorting. His chest often tightened at numbers and words. Expectations sealed in paper. From the Vitakka Sutta came a quiet strategy. Redirect attention with kindness. He washed his hands slowly instead, warm water grounding him. The envelopes stayed where they were, unchanged. The Buddha taught fear softens when faced gently, not rushed. In bed, his breath settled. Sleep came without calculations. The teaching spoke softly. Some things wait until morning. Story 26. The parked bicycle. A bicycle leaned against a fence. Chain quiet. Tires still. A woman paused beside it. Her ride finished for the day. She felt the ache of effort in her legs, also a quiet pride. The Satipatthana Sutta includes awareness of the body, honoring sensation without judgment. She stretched slowly, listened to evening sounds. The Buddha taught balance between striving and rest, movement followed by stillness. At home, sleep arrived smoothly. The teaching remained. Rest is part of the journey. Story 27. The fading music. Music played softly from another apartment. A familiar tune, barely audible. A man lay listening without attachment, letting notes pass through. Memories stirred, then settled. No need to follow. In Indra's net, each sound reflects many others, none held alone. The Buddha taught listening without grasping, hearing without clinging. The music ended naturally. Silence followed. Sleep came gently. Everything arrives, then leaves. Story 28. The grocery receipt. A long receipt unfolded on the counter. Numbers neat and final. A woman glanced, then folded it once. Enough for tonight. Money worries often tightened her jaw. Now they loosened slightly. The Kua Kama Vibhanga Sutta speaks of causes unfolding slowly, not all at once. She placed the receipt aside. Breath steady. The Buddha taught patience with results, trust in gradual change. Sleep came with ease. Care grows over time. Story 29. The backyard wind chimes. Wind chimes moved gently in the dark, soft notes drifting. A man listened from his bed, each sound separate. His thoughts slowed to match the rhythm. No urgency. The Buddha taught mindfulness of sound, hearing without naming. Chimes rested when wind paused, then sang again. Sleep followed the pattern. Ease comes and goes naturally. Story 30. The final light switch. A hallway light clicked off softly. Darkness settled kindly. A woman stood still for a moment, listening to the house breathe. Her day felt complete enough. Nothing missing. In the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes endings, knowing when to close gently. She walked to bed calmly, body ready. The Buddha taught rest as a form of wisdom, letting the day be finished. Sleep arrived like a trusted friend. The teaching whispered its calm goodbye. Story 31. The window slightly open. The window was open just a little, enough for night air. Curtains moved gently, breathing with the dark. A man lay still, hands resting on his chest. The day had been full of voices and decisions. Now only distant traffic whispered beyond the glass. No one asking anything of him. He had spent years trying to control outcomes. Work, family, the future, even rest itself. Tonight, the cool air touched his face softly. It did not demand agreement or resistance. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha spoke of ease, how peace grows when grasping loosens. The man listened to a faraway siren fade. Everything arrived, then passed. His breathing slowed without instruction. The body knew what to do. He remembered a teacher once saying, "You do not need to close every opening." The open window felt like permission to let life move without managing it. Thoughts drifted like clouds, thin and slow. None stayed long enough to trouble him. The Buddha taught trust in natural rhythms. Day becomes night without effort. As sleep gathered, the man smiled faintly. The teaching settled like the cool air. Rest, it seemed to say, enters through what you leave open. Story 32. The coffee cup rinsed clean. A coffee cup rested upside down on the rack. Drops slid quietly into the sink. A woman leaned against the counter, eyes soft. Her day had been sharp and loud. Deadlines pressed. Conversations replayed. She had almost skipped washing the cup. Too tired, she thought. But warm water soothed her hands. Steam rose gently. In the Sayutta Nikaya, simple actions calm the mind. Attention settles where the hands move. The cup came clean without argument. Stains lifted easily. She noticed her shoulders relax, jaw loosening. The Buddha taught that clarity often follows care, not effortful. but steady. She placed the cup to dry. Nothing left to do. In bed, her breath felt lighter. Sleep approached without being summoned. The teaching remained nearby. What you clean with kindness cleans you too. Story 33. The streetlight turning off, one by one. Streetlights dimmed at dawn. Night retreating quietly. A man watched from his bed, half awake. Sleep had been uneven. Worry lingered from unfinished plans. But the sky was changing anyway. In the Majjhima Nikaya, change is described as constant. Whether welcomed or resisted, the man let his eyes close again. No need to follow the light. Bird song replaced distant engines. Morning arrived without consultation. The Buddha taught that effort cannot stop impermanence, but awareness can soften it. The man rested between night and day, neither holding nor pushing away. Sleep returned briefly, kind and deep. The teaching stayed with him. Life moves forward even when you rest. Story 34. The warm blanket. A heavy blanket settled over tired legs. Warmth spread slowly. A woman adjusted it just once, then let stillness take over. Her body had carried many roles today. Worker, listener, planner. Now it only needed rest. Nothing else. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes comfort. Noticing ease without clinging. She felt the weight hold her gently. Supported. The Buddha taught compassion begins with the body, allowing it to feel safe. Her breathing deepened naturally. Muscles softened. Sleep followed the warmth downward, like settling into earth. The teaching whispered quietly. Support allows release. Story 35. The quiet message notification. A phone screen lit briefly on the nightstand, then dimmed again. A man resisted the urge to check. His hand relaxed. Messages could wait. This moment mattered more. From the Abhaya Sutta came a remembered principle. Not every sound requires response. Silence returned to the room, gentle and complete. The Buddha taught discernment in attention, choosing what to receive. The man turned slightly, more comfortable, breath slowing. Sleep arrived easily. The teaching smiled softly. Peace grows when you choose not to answer. Story 36. The back porch chair. A wooden chair creaked softly on the porch. Evening air wrapped around it. A woman sat watching darkness thicken. Fireflies blinked in the distance. Her thoughts had been crowded all day. Now space returned. In the Jataka tales, patience is shown as waiting, without boredom or demand. She rested her hands in her lap. Stillness felt earned. The Buddha taught presence as companionship, being with what is. Later, sleep came gently indoors. The teaching followed. Rest does not need entertainment. Story 37. The folded jacket. A jacket hung neatly on a chair. Pockets empty. A man smoothed the sleeve once, then stopped. His day's responsibilities stayed with the jacket, not with him. The Sigalovada Sutta speaks of proper boundaries, knowing when roles end. He turned off the light calmly. Darkness accepted him. The Buddha taught balance between duty and rest. Neither neglected. Sleep came softly. The teaching rested too. You are allowed to set things down. Story 38. The quiet intersection. An empty intersection waited under blinking lights. No cars passed. A woman paused at the corner. Walking home, the city seemed to breathe. Her life felt uncertain lately. Many directions, none clear. In the Kalama Sutta, trust grows through observation, not haste. She crossed slowly. listened to her steps. The Buddha taught that clarity emerges when rushing stops, even briefly. At home, sleep came gently. The teaching stayed close. Stillness reveals the way. Story 39. The last dish drying. A dish towel moved slowly over clean plates. Careful and quiet. A man enjoyed the simple repetition. No one watching. His mind settled into the rhythm. Left. Right. Pause. In the Vitakasantana Sutta, calming thoughts replaces agitation. Through gentle focus, the dishes lined up neatly. Complete. The Buddha taught completion brings ease, even in small things. Sleep followed easily. The teaching whispered, finish gently, then rest. Story 40. The lamp turned low. A bedside lamp glowed dim and steady. Soft shadows filled the room. A woman lay listening to her breath. Nothing else mattered. Her day had stretched long, but now it folded inward. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes rest, knowing when to stop. She reached out and dimmed the light further. Almost dark. The Buddha taught wisdom as knowing enough. Enough effort. Enough thought. Sleep arrived smoothly, without resistance. The teaching remained as a final comfort. You have done enough for today. Story 41. The early morning porch. The porch boards were cool beneath bare feet. Morning had not fully arrived yet. A man stepped outside before sunrise. Wrapped in a thin sweater, the world felt unfinished. And he liked that. His nights had been restless lately, thoughts looping like tired animals. Here, the air carried a faint smell of wet earth. Somewhere, a bird practiced its first call. He rested his hands on the railing, did not check the time. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of early hours, moments when the mind is soft and teachable. The man breathed in slowly. Cool air filled his chest. He thought about work waiting later, emails, expectations, quiet, pressure, but none of it had arrived yet. This moment belonged only to breathing. The sky lightened gradually. No announcement, no hurry. The Buddha taught that clarity appears when effort relaxes, like dawn, arriving on its own. The man felt his shoulders drop, jaw unclenching without instruction. He did not need answers now, only presence. When he returned inside, sleep came again, gentle and forgiving. The teaching lingered softly. Some beginnings are meant to be quiet. Story 42. The living room after everyone left. The living room felt larger once the door closed. Voices faded down the hallway. A woman stood alone, listening to the quiet return. Family visits always stirred old feelings. Love mixed with tension. Care mixed with exhaustion. She straightened a pillow slowly. Then another. In the Sigalovada Sutta, the Buddha spoke of household harmony, not perfection, but patience. She sat on the couch and exhaled fully. The house seemed to respond. Her chest loosened. The evening softened. She allowed the visit to be finished. No replaying conversations. The Buddha taught that peace includes endings, letting moments complete themselves. She turned off the lamp. Darkness arrived kindly. In bed, her breath steadied. Sleep followed. The teaching whispered gently. Love does not require holding on. Story 43. The office chair at home. An office chair sat unused in the corner. Wheels still. A man passed it on his way to bed. Work stayed there tonight. The day had blurred into evening. Screens glowing too long. He placed his phone face down, a small act of care. In the Vitakasantana Sutta, the Buddha spoke of redirecting thought, choosing calmer ground. He stretched once, slowly, felt the body return. The chair waited quietly. Tomorrow could have it. The Buddha taught separation between effort and rest, both necessary. Sleep came smoothly. The teaching settled like a calm hand. You do not have to sit there now. Story 44. The street after midnight. The street lay empty under orange lights. No cars. No voices. A woman walked home. Steps unhurried. Her shift had ended late again. Fatigue lived deep in her bones. Yet the night felt gentle. In the Sayutta Nikaya, solitude is described as nourishment, when chosen, not forced. Her breath synced with her pace. In, out. She felt part of the quiet, not alone, but held. The Buddha taught ease arises when struggle pauses. Even briefly, at home, sleep came quickly. The teaching followed her inside. Stillness can be a companion. Story 45. The clock without numbers. A small clock ticked softly on the shelf. No numbers, just hands. A man watched them move without measuring. Time felt kinder this way. He often battled the clock at night, counting hours lost. Tonight, he did not. He simply listened. In the Dhammapada, time is shaped by attention, where the mind rests. The ticking slowed in his awareness. Or maybe he did. The Buddha taught release from grasping includes time itself. Letting go of counting. Sleep arrived unnoticed. The teaching remained. Rest does not need measurement. Story 46. The warm shower before bed. Steam filled the small bathroom. Water flowed steadily. A woman stood under it. Eyes closed. Muscles easing. Her day had demanded strength. Now softness returned. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes sensation, feeling without judgment. Water traced her shoulders gently, down her back. The Buddha taught cleansing as renewal. Again and again. When she lay down, her body remembered warmth. Sleep followed. The teaching whispered, "Let comfort be enough." Story 47. The chair by the window. A chair faced the window, unused all day. Now it waited. A man sat briefly before bed, just to sit. Outside, leaves moved slightly. Inside, breath slowed. In the Jataka tales, stillness teaches patience. Without words, he did not stay long, just long enough. The Buddha taught knowing when to rise and when to rest. Sleep came easily. The teaching smiled quietly. Balance knows its own timing. Story 48. The house settling. Pipes clicked softly as the house cooled. Wood shifted. A woman lay listening, reassured. These sounds meant safety. Her mind had feared silence before. Now it welcomed it. In the Abhidhamma, processes continue without supervision. Life sustaining itself. She trusted the house, trusted her breath. The Buddha taught confidence in the ordinary. Nothing mystical required. Sleep deepened. The teaching rested. You are supported. Even now. Story 49. The bag set down. A work bag rested by the door. Zipper closed. A man placed it there deliberately, not carrying it further. His shoulders felt lighter immediately. Body understood. In the Mahakama Vibhanga Sutta, actions have weight. So does release. He washed his hands slowly. Let the day rinse away. The Buddha taught letting go as an action too. a skillful one. Sleep followed easily. The teaching stayed close. Put it down. For now. Story 50. The breath before sleep. The room was dark and quiet. Almost still. A woman noticed her breath gently. Nothing else. No fixing. No planning. In the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, awareness of breathing is home. Always available. Each breath arrived. Then left. No effort. The Buddha taught peace is not far away. It is already here. Sleep came like a soft answer. The teaching whispered its final truth. You may rest now. Story 51. The quiet hallway. The hallway stretched gently between rooms. Dim and familiar. Night softened every edge. A man stood there, listening to the house settle. He often paused here before bed. This space belonged to no task. It asked for nothing. His days were full of movement and decisions. Even rest sometimes felt scheduled. Here, his feet felt the cool floor, grounding him back into the body. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of thresholds, places between one state and another. The hallway felt like that. Not day, not sleep. He leaned lightly against the wall. Breath slowed. Thoughts passed without invitation. He let them go by. The Buddha taught that stillness lives between actions, waiting patiently. When he finally lay down, sleep came easily. The teaching followed softly. Rest often begins in the spaces between. Story 52. The warm mug at night. A warm mug rested between two hands. Steam rose slowly. A woman sat at the kitchen table alone. Lights dimmed low. The day had been long and loud. Now only warmth remained. She did not rush to drink, just held. In the Sutta Nikaya, simple comfort steadies the heart. When received fully, her shoulders dropped, jaw softened. The mug cooled gradually. No hurry. The Buddha taught awareness includes enjoyment, not clinging, just noticing. Later, sleep came gently. The teaching lingered. Comfort is allowed. Story 53. The closed laptop. A laptop clicked shut with a soft sound. Final for tonight. A man exhaled slowly, eyes grateful for darkness. Work thoughts still hovered nearby, but weaker now. In the Vitakasantana Sutta, redirection brings calm. Turning away gently, he placed the laptop aside, out of reach. The Buddha taught restraint as kindness toward the mind. In bed, his breath evened. Sleep followed. Some doors close, so rest can enter. Story 54. The night breeze. A breeze slipped through the screen door, cool and light. A woman lay listening to it move curtains. The house, breathing. Her thoughts had raced earlier. Now they slowed. In the Dhammapada, ease follows, letting go, like wind passing freely. She did not chase the feeling, just stayed. The Buddha taught peace is not held. It passes through. Sleep arrived quietly. The teaching whispered, let it move through you. Story 55. The familiar ceiling. The ceiling held faint shadows from passing cars. Soft patterns. A man watched without interest, just noticing. His mind had replayed conversations earlier. Now it rested. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes seeing, without story. The shadows shifted, then faded. Nothing stayed. The Buddha taught thoughts behave the same way. When left alone, sleep followed the fading light. The teaching remained. Nothing needs to be held. Story 56. The back door locked. A door clicked securely into place. Quiet certainty. A woman checked it once. Then trusted. Safety settled in her chest. Muscles relaxed. In the Abhidhamma, confidence calms the mind. When conditions are met, she turned away from the door. Let the night handle itself. The Buddha taught trust in what is done. No need to repeat. Sleep came easily. Enough was enough. Story 57. The still fan. A fan stood silent in the corner. Air already cool. A man noticed the quiet. No hum tonight. His thoughts matched the stillness. Unmoving. In Indra's net, stillness connects all things. Nothing separate. The Buddha taught silence speaks clearly. When allowed, sleep deepened naturally. The teaching rested. Quiet is full. Story 58. The folded letter. A letter lay folded neatly on the desk. Not opened. A woman touched it briefly, then let it be. Tonight was not for answers, only rest. In the Kalama Sutta, discernment includes timing, knowing when to wait. She turned off the light. Darkness welcomed her. The Buddha taught patience with knowing. It ripens. Sleep came softly. Waiting is also wisdom. Story 59. The soft pillow. A pillow cradled the head gently. Just right. A man adjusted once, then stopped. Comfort arrived easily, without effort. In the Jataka tales, ease follows acceptance, not adjustment. The Buddha taught simplicity settles the heart. Enough is enough. Sleep followed the softness. The teaching smiled. Rest receives you. Story 60. The last thought. A final thought drifted through the mind, then passed. A woman noticed the space it left behind. Quiet. Nothing rushed in to replace it. Peace held. In the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, awareness remains when thought ends. Still and open. Her breath moved gently, unnoticed. The Buddha taught this stillness is always present. Waiting. Sleep arrived like a gentle answer. The teaching whispered softly, "You are already home." Story 61. The quiet staircase. The staircase rested between floors. Dim and still. Each step held the memory of many days. A man paused halfway up. Hand on the railing. He did not remember why he stopped. Perhaps his body asked before his mind noticed. The day had been crowded with instructions. Here, the wood felt cool and steady. The house breathed around him. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of pauses, moments where effort naturally falls away. The man stood without moving. Breath found its own depth. No one needed him right now. No task waited on this step. The silence did not feel empty. It felt complete. The Buddha taught that rest appears when striving loosens, like a hand unclenching. After a while, he continued upward, but something stayed behind. In bed, sleep came easily. The teaching whispered softly, "You do not have to rush between levels of your life." Story 62. The warm hall light. A small hall light glowed amber, soft enough to guide, not wake. A woman left it on every night. A quiet habit of care. Her mind often wandered into worry after dark. This light kept her grounded. In the Dhammapada, mindfulness is compared to a lamp, illuminating without heat. She lay down, knowing the hallway was lit, nothing hidden. Her breath slowed gently. The body felt safe. The Buddha taught compassion includes caring for fear, not dismissing it. Sleep arrived gradually. The light remained. The teaching lingered kindly. You may leave a little light on for yourself. Story 63. The empty sink. The sink was empty for once. No dishes waiting. A man noticed this with mild surprise. Completion felt unfamiliar. He stood there a moment longer than needed, letting the quiet sink in. In the Sutta Nikaya, satisfaction arises from simple clarity. Seeing what is done. Water droplets clung to steel, then slid away. His chest softened. No next step required. The Buddha taught appreciation of small endings. They steady the mind. Later, sleep came smoothly. The teaching rested nearby. Sometimes, nothing left to do is enough. Story 64. The back window at night. The back window reflected the dark yard. Only faint shapes visible. A woman stood there briefly before bed, hands wrapped around herself. Her thoughts had wandered far earlier. Now, they returned home. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes seeing darkness clearly, without fear. She noticed her reflection blend with night. No separation. The Buddha taught that boundaries soften in stillness, inside and outside meeting. She turned away calmly. Sleep followed. The teaching whispered gently, "You belong to this quiet." Story 65. The slow teaspoon. A teaspoon stirred honey into warm water. Circles slow and steady. A man watched the motion without hurry. Sweetness dissolving. His day had been sharp at the edges. This softened it. In the Anguttara Nikaya, repetition calms restless thought. Simple, rhythmic action. The spoon slowed, then stopped. Clarity remained. The Buddha taught ease can be cultivated gently. No force needed. In bed, his breath felt smoother. Sleep came quietly. Sweetness. The teaching said, does not need to rush. Story 66. The night air through leaves. Leaves rustled softly outside the window. Night air moving freely. A woman listened. Eyes closed. Each sound separate. Complete. Her thoughts loosened their grip. Sound replaced story. In Indra's net, each movement reflects countless others, all connected. The Buddha taught listening without naming, just receiving. The leaves continued, then paused. Sleep followed the rhythm. The teaching rested. You are part of this movement. Story 67. The jacket by the door. A jacket hung quietly by the door. Pockets empty now. A man brushed past it lightly. No need to wear it again tonight. His body recognized the end of effort. Muscles softened. In the Sigalovada Sutta, roles have proper times. Work and rest balanced. He turned off the hall light. Darkness welcomed him. The Buddha taught wisdom in knowing when to stop. Completion brings peace. Sleep arrived naturally. The teaching stayed close. You may step out of your role for the night. Story 68. The soft floor lamp. A floor lamp cast a wide, gentle glow. Corners softened. A woman lay, watching shadows blur, edges disappearing. Her day had been full of sharp lines, rules, limits, demands. In the Abhidhamma, perception shapes experience. Softening perception softens mind. She dimmed the lamp slightly. The room exhaled. The Buddha taught kindness toward the senses. They guide the heart. Sleep came easily. The teaching whispered, not everything needs to be clear tonight. Story 69. The cooling room. The room cooled as night deepened. Air settled. A man pulled the blanket once, then left it. Comfort adjusted itself. No planning required. In the Mahakama Vibhanga Sutta, Causes unfold naturally, given time. His breath followed the cooling air. Slower. The Buddha taught trust in natural balance. The body knows. Sleep deepened gently. The teaching rested. You can let things find their own place. Story 70. The space between breaths. A breath ended. A pause followed. A woman noticed the space gently, wide and quiet. Nothing filled it immediately. No thought rushed in. In the Maha Satipatthana Sutta, this space is awareness, open and kind. Another breath began naturally. No effort. The Buddha taught peace lives here, between what comes and goes. Sleep arrived softly, like a familiar friend. The teaching whispered its calm assurance. Rest is already waiting for you. Story 71. The long table after dinner. The long table rested quietly after everyone had gone. Plates stacked neatly. Crumbs brushed away. A man stood with his hands on the chair backs. Dinner laughter still echoed faintly in memory. Family gatherings always stirred something inside him. Old roles returning without invitation. He had tried to hold everything together tonight. Smiles. Patience. Careful words. Now the house was still. The table no longer needed him. In the Sigalovada Sutta, the Buddha spoke of harmony, not forcing it, but allowing space afterward. The man pulled out a chair and sat alone. Breath slowed as effort fell away. He noticed the wood grain beneath his fingers. Solid, uncomplicated. The table had carried everyone's weight without complaint. Now it rested. The Buddha taught that responsibility ends when the moment ends. Holding longer only strains the heart. He turned off the overhead light. The room softened instantly. Later, in bed, sleep arrived gently. The teaching lingered like a quiet voice. You have done enough for those you love tonight. Story 72. The quiet drive home. The road stretched ahead, empty and dark. Headlights carved a gentle path. A woman drove slowly. Radio turned off. Silence felt better than sound. Her day had been filled with people's needs. Her own left until last. The hum of tires grounded her. Each mile unwound a knot. In the Sayutta Nikaya, the Buddha spoke of solitude, not isolation, but return to self. She rested one hand on the steering wheel. Grip loosened. Traffic lights changed without urgency. Green arrived when it arrived. The Buddha taught trust in unfolding. No need to rush what is already moving. By the time she parked, her breath was deep, her shoulders lighter. Sleep came easily once she lay down. The teaching followed her home. Sometimes, the journey itself is the release. Story 73. The open drawer. A drawer stood open just slightly. Socks, visible. Folded neatly. A man noticed it while turning off lights. He considered closing it. Then he didn't. It felt unimportant. His life had been ruled by fixing small things, correcting details. Tonight, he let the drawer be. Nothing bad happened. In the Kalama Sutta, discernment includes knowing what matters and what can wait. He lay down without revisiting the drawer. The room felt calm anyway. The Buddha taught peace grows when control softens. When the world is allowed, sleep arrived quietly. The drawer remained open. The teaching smiled gently. Everything does not need to be perfect to be peaceful. Story 74. The sound of the dishwasher. Water rushed softly behind a closed door. Steady and rhythmic. A woman leaned against the counter, listening, hands finally still. Her mind had been noisy all evening. This sound soothed it. In the Abhidhamma, repetition steadies mental formations, gentle cycles, calming thought. The dishwasher did its work without guidance. Trustworthy, she felt herself mirror that ease. Letting go of supervision, the Buddha taught that life continues without constant oversight. We are allowed to rest. When the cycle ended, she was already drowsy. Sleep came naturally. The teaching whispered softly, "You do not have to manage everything tonight." Story 75. The coat on the hook. A coat hung from a hook near the door, still holding the day's shape. A man touched the sleeve briefly, then turned away. Cold air had followed him inside earlier. Now warmth returned. In the Vitakka Santana Sutta, shifting attention brings relief, moving toward comfort. He washed his hands slowly. Warm water easing the bones. The Buddha taught the body listens before the mind. Care for it first. In bed, his thoughts loosened. Sleep followed the warmth upward. The teaching rested beside him. You may leave the cold outside. Story 76. The dim bathroom light. A small bathroom light glowed softly, just enough to see. A woman moved slowly, unhurried. Night routine, steady and kind. Her reflection looked tired, but gentle. No judgment arose. In the Dhammapada, compassion begins inward, seeing without blame. She turned off the light halfway. Let darkness take over. The Buddha taught rest includes trusting the dark. Nothing hidden that needs fixing. Sleep came soon after. The teaching lingered warmly. You do not need full brightness to be safe. Story 77. The mailbox at night. The mailbox clicked shut softly. Empty now. A man stood a moment longer than needed, night air cooling his face. He had dreaded opening it earlier. Now it was done. In the Mahakamavibhanga Sutta, actions complete their arc. Beginning, middle, end. He breathed out slowly. Completion felt good. The Buddha taught courage includes finishing small tasks, then letting them go. Back inside. Sleep came easily. The teaching whispered, when something is done, let it be done. Story 78. The lamp in the corner. A corner lamp cast a soft circle of light. Not bright, just kind. A woman lay watching the edge of that circle, shadows resting peacefully. Her day had demanded sharp focus. Now her eyes softened. In the Satipatthana Sutta, awareness includes relaxation, letting perception widen. She dimmed the lamp slightly. The room sighed. The Buddha taught gentleness invites rest. Force drives it away. Sleep arrived without effort. The teaching glowed quietly. Softness is enough. Story 79. The cooling tea. A cup of tea steamed less with each minute, cooling patiently. A man held it, feeling warmth fade. No rush to drink. His thoughts followed the cooling, settling. In the Anguttara Nikaya, patience is praised as strength. Waiting without tension. He sipped once, then set the cup down. Satisfied. The Buddha taught contentment does not require fullness, just enough. Sleep followed soon after. The teaching rested gently. Let things cool in their own time. Story 80. The moment before sleep. The room held one final quiet moment, neither awake nor asleep. A woman noticed it without effort. A soft edge of awareness. Nothing needed attention. Nothing pulled her forward. In the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, this moment is home. Awareness without direction. Her breath moved once more. Then rest took over. The Buddha taught peace does not need to be reached. It is already here. Sleep arrived like a gentle closing hand. The teaching whispered its final kindness. You are held, and you may let go. Now there is nothing more you need to follow, nothing more you need to remember. The stories can rest now, and you can rest with them. Let the last words soften into silence, like ripples settling on a quiet lake. Your breath knows what to do. In and out. Each breath slower than the one before. Each pause a little longer. You do not need to listen closely anymore. Just let the sound of this voice drift past you, like a breeze moving through trees at night. Present, then gone. Your body is already unwinding, shoulders releasing, jaw loosening. Thoughts can come if they wish. They can leave just as easily. Nothing needs solving now. Nothing needs fixing. Tonight is not asking anything from you. It is only offering rest. If the mind wanders, that is fine. If it stays, that is also fine. The Buddha once said, peace comes when grasping ends. So let the hands of the mind open. Let effort slip away. You are safe in this moment, held by the simple rhythm of breathing. The day is finished. Tomorrow can wait. For now, there is only softness, only stillness. The body sinks deeper into the bed, as if the earth itself is supporting you. Nothing more to hear, nothing more to do. Sleep arrives quietly, like a kind friend who knows the way. And as you drift, know this gently. You are enough. You have always been enough. Rest now. Sleep deeply.